For a potluck party, I have 3 basic principles. Make it ahead, make things that travel well, and make it so delicious. So for this party, I'm making short ribs and cheddar dill cornbread. How good does that sound? So what I did was I asked the butcher for 9 short ribs, and I asked him to trim the fat off them. I've got nice, big, meaty short ribs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roast them first, and then I'm going to put them in a big pot with all kinds of wine and vegetables and just cook them up slowly so they're really tender and delicious. So I have 9 short ribs. Extra one in the middle. Just sprinkle them with lots of salt and pepper. I'm going to roast them at high temperature, 400 degrees, for about 15 minutes. And what that's going to do is really caramelize and sear the meat instead of doing it on the top of a stove, which is so annoying. And then into the oven, 400 degrees for 15 minutes. And then it's going to go all into a big stock pot. Okay, into the oven. Best thing about a potluck party is I love surprises. Can't wait to see what TR is making for dessert.
I've got everything under control. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but I'm going to resist all these beautifully pre-made desserts. I mean, this tart is fabulous, but I'm going to resist. I'm going to make one of Ina's recipes myself. I'm going to make the meringue chantilly with cream and fruit sauce. And all I need is the cream. Hi, Ina.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm just fine. How about you?
Good, I'm good. Listen, I just need some heavy cream. Do you have some?
I most certainly do.
Thank you. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So while the short ribs sear in the oven, I'm going to get the vegetables for the sauce ready. So I'm going to chop up lots of vegetables and then cook them over low heat in a stock pot and really caramelize the flavors, get the wonderful flavors into the sauce. The first thing I'm starting with is 1 large leek, which is really in the onion family, but a milder onion flavor. Very classic for sauces. And what I did was I washed it really, really well, because sometimes there's sand in leeks. I'm going to heat up a 1/4 cup of oil. I need a big stock pot for this because all the vegetables and the short ribs are going to go into this. And while that heats up, I'm going to get 1 fennel chopped up. Fennel's kind of unusual vegetable, but it's pretty much available everywhere now. Just cut off the tops, cut off the end if it's browned, and then what I like to do is take out the core. So just run your knife down the middle, and you can see the core is right there. It's that little triangle. So just take it out. It's just a little tougher than the rest of the fennel. Fennel is really this wonderful anise flavor. If you haven't had it, I have to say I'm not a fan of raw fennel, but cooked fennel is so delicious. So I'm just going to chop it up. I've got all kinds of vegetables in this sauce, and the more vegetables, the more flavored it is. Fennel and leeks and carrots and celery and onions, and it all blends together. Just cooked for a long time. It just flavors the sauce. Beef short ribs can be really rich, so I like a really nice fresh vegetable sauce to go with it. So oil's nice and hot, so in goes the fennel and leeks. Just toss them right in. And I have lots more vegetables to put in the sauce. I've got 2 onions, 4 cups of celery, and 2 carrots. I'm going to just put them right in. This gives the sauce so much flavor and texture. It's wonderful. And when the short ribs are so rich, that really the vegetables in the sauce really cut that. Fabulous. Just going to give it a big stir. I'm going to cook this for about 15-20 minutes until the vegetables are really tender and browned. And then I'm going to add wine. I'm going to add herbs. It's going to be delicious. Short ribs with cheddar dill cornbread. Who wouldn't want that for dinner? I love a potluck party. All the jobs are shared. Everybody feels involved. TR's going to play the host. Kirk's bringing the wine. And I'm doing the main course. Short ribs and cheddar dill cornbread. How good does that sound? So I've been cooking a whole pot of vegetables, fennel and leeks, carrots, onions, until they're really nice and soft, about 20 minutes. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic, just right into the pot. I'm going to cook them for just about a minute, so you get all the flavor but not burnt. Okay, give it a little stir. This smells good. Can even smell the garlic already. Okay, now I'm going to put some tomato paste in, about 2 tablespoons. It's going to really intensify the sauce. And a whole bottle of red wine. I'm actually using Burgundy. I always cook with something I'd want to serve for dinner. You don't want to use a cheap wine in your cooking and then it tastes like cheap dinner. Fabulous. So this is going to cook for about 10 minutes until the wine is reduced by half and will really intensify the flavors. Oh, I think I can smell those short ribs searing in the oven. I'm going to go see how they're doing. Oh my God, they're just gorgeous, nice and brown. I'm going to turn the oven down to 300. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the short ribs into the sauce and then put it all back in the oven. And it's going to cook slowly for a long time until those short ribs, you can just eat them with a spoon. This is great. Okay, now I'm going to season the sauce. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper. Okay, give that a big stir. Okay, now I'm going to make an herb bouquet. It's sort of like a bouquet garni, but just 2 herbs. So I've got rosemary and fresh thyme. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie them together. If I just put them in the sauce, then fishing out the stems would be impossible. But if I tie them together and just fish out the whole bundle, get all of the flavor and none of the problems. Okay, right into the sauce. Okay, so I'm just going to put the ribs in. Just put them right on top of the sauce. Tiara's dessert better be really good after this. It's a challenge to see whose is better. Somehow I think it will be. Okay, that's a perfect fit. 9 short ribs right in. Okay, next a little bit of a surprise ingredient. A tablespoon of brown sugar really brings out the sweetness in the vegetable and caramelizes everything. And 6 cups of beef stock. I have homemade beef stock, but if you can find good beef stock in the store, that's fine too. Homemade's always better. So it's a lot of liquid, and it's just going to simmer slowly in this stock and the sauce and all the juices from the short ribs. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. Okay, now I'm just going to bring this up to a simmer. Give it a stir. You want it simmering when it goes in the oven so it starts cooking right away. Tiara used to work for me when he was like 15 or 16 years old at Barefoot Contessa, and he was just wonderful all the time. All these years I've given him lots of advice on cooking, and I've helped him with his dinner parties. This time, he's on his own. I'm going to put it into the oven, 300 degrees, for about 2 hours, really slow cook it. It's going to be one great dinner.
So I think Anya's going to be impressed with dessert. I'm going to make her meringue chantilly, and I'm going to do it all by myself. Not a teensy bit of help from her. Got the cream, and now I need the fruit for the sauce. Okay, so now the fruits. Raspberries and blueberries, and here they are. How easy is this? So far, so good. I think next time I'm going to volunteer to cook the whole meal myself. Off we go.
Whoa, that's a big pot. The short ribs have been cooking for about 2 hours. They're going to be meltingly tender. What I'm going to do is, oh, how good does that look? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the short ribs out of the sauce, and then I'm going to reduce the sauce down even further. These are going to just be wonderful. Oh, they're just completely falling apart. Look at that. I'd say TR is going to be very happy with this dinner. So the point of reducing the sauce is just really intensify the flavor. Well, they're just completely falling off the bone. The wonderful part of having bones in the sauce is it really flavors it and thickens it. So I'm going to take all of these out. It's amazing how much the short ribs actually reduce in size when they're cooking. They look pretty big when they start, but by now they're really smaller. So I think 2 or 3 per person is great. So I'm going to take out our little bundle of herbs that has just nothing but stems now. And that's why we tie it together. And I'm going to skim off some of the fat because you really don't want the sauce to be too greasy. The short ribs are rich enough as it is. I'm going to reduce this on simmer for about 20 minutes till it's rich and thick and delicious. And next I'm going to make cheddar dill cornbread to go with it. How good is that?